news coming in right at the top of newsroom tonight that talks between ex-servicemen and the government have broken down. For more on this, I'm joined now by Gaurav Sawant, India Today's Strategic Affairs Editor and the one journalist who's tracking one rank, one pension more closely than anyone else. Gaurav, what does this mean? Because there were indications from the government that tomorrow when the Prime Minister speaks, he will announce that one rank, one pension has become a reality. Are you suggesting that may not happen?
Now it will have to be an executive decision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The talks between the veterans and the Finance Ministry officials, that's completely broken down. From what my sources are telling me, it's stuck on two issues. The veterans want 2014 to be, the base point at which pensions are decided. The government says it should be 2011. That's point one. Point two is whether pensions go up every year by 3%, which is what one rank, one pension is. The government says it should be every pay commission. The veterans say it should be every year.
What's the difference between the 2011 and the 2014 formula?
Pay scales increase every year. So there's a change in pay scale. So if you use the 2011 scales, the pensions are lower, the 2014 scales are higher, and the government committed in writing to the 2014 scale. So they're saying, why should we go back on that now? As far as the other aspect is concerned, every year increase or every 5 years increase, every increase with the pay commission, that is where the government was hoping that the veterans would relent.
So what will Modi do tomorrow?
Then it will have to be his decision. It was his commitment, and that is what the veterans have constantly been telling me. We voted for Prime Minister Narendra Modi when we heard him in Rewari. We stand by the Prime Minister when it's Siachen on Deepavali. He said, I will give one rank, one pension, and I've given it. So it's his word. Like the Rafale deal, it was stuck between two countries, and the Prime Minister decided we will go ahead. If the Prime Minister decides tonight, we will go ahead. There will be an announcement tomorrow.
So the ball is entirely in the Prime Minister's court, and this is the kind of executive decision that he was elected to take. The Babus can't fix this.
No.
The Mantris can't fix this. Prime Minister, it's now up to you. Gaurav Sawant, many thanks. It's going to be a very uneasy night for lakhs of servicemen as they wait to know what happens. Meanwhile, what happened this morning was downright disgusting. It does India no good. For the past 60 days, ex-servicemen had been protesting at Jantar Mantar. Suddenly this morning, the CRPF and Delhi police officials came to Jantar Mantar and forcibly started evicting servicemen who'd been protesting. Now just imagine the sight. Policemen pushing ex-servicemen out. Those same army men who give up their lives fighting for our nation, who guard our borders, who are responsible for our national security, are suddenly considered threats to national security. India was aghast. Here's what happened.
This is what 82-year-old Grenadier Bishambar Singh got for demanding his due. His clothes torn and medals scattered. Bishambar Singh, along with other army veterans, was protesting the delay in announcing one rank, one pension when Delhi police tried to evict them.
सुबह साहब मारे यहाँ आगे टैंक पाड़ने लगे ऊपरला पाड़ दिया यहाँ से फिर पड़ गया मैं कह रहा भाई ऐसा क्यों करो मारिए हम सैनिक हम पाकिस्तानी थोड़ा ही हैं.
At the protest site at Jantar Mantar in the capital, Delhi police removed hoardings and tore down tents, all in the name of security arrangements for Independence Day. The veterans claimed they were being evicted. Congress too joined the one rank, one pension war. Haryana Chief Minister Bhupinder Singh Hooda stood in solidarity with the soldiers in Gurgaon. In Delhi, Rahul Gandhi too gave his voice to the cause.
सरकार को OROP की डिमांड जो है वो पूरी करनी चाहिए, वायदा किया है और उसको जल्दी से जल्दी पूरा करना चाहिए.
We demand that this OROP should be implemented at once, and we condemn in strongest words what has happened in Delhi today.
The Aam Aadmi Party too joined the chorus, demanding that the Prime Minister keep his promise. The government, meanwhile, has assured that it will keep its word.
The government has to do it during his tenure, and we will do it quite early. I am not saying at the end of it. There are technical difficulties.
The veterans say that the protest is the last straw, with the government being non-committal and whether a landmark announcement will be made during his Independence Day speech. With Simi Pasha and Anindya Banerjee in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
I want to go across now and listen to a veteran of 3 wars. He served in the 1962 war against China, then in the 1965 war against Pakistan, and in 1971 he was in Bangladesh fighting the Pakistani army. He is Grenadier Vishambar Singh. He's an 82-year-old veteran. He's from the 5 Grenadier Regiment of the Indian Army and he's joining us on this broadcast. Vishambar Sahab, स्वागत आपका. 3 जंग में आपने हिस्सा लिया. आपने हिंदुस्तान के लिए लड़ाई की 3 दफा. जी, आज मैंने सुना कि दिल्ली पुलिस ने जब वहां पर हमला किया, जब दिल्ली पुलिस के अधिकारी वहां पर आए तो आपके जो मेडल्स हैं वो गिर गए, बिखर गए. आप हमारे दर्शकों को बताएं विशंबर जी कि क्या हुआ आज सुबह.
आज साहब ऐसे हुआ, हमारे यहाँ 1 रैंक 1 पे के लिए यहाँ बैठे हैं अपने तंबू में. हम अपना धरने पे बैठे हैं तो साहब इन्हें अनशन पे बैठे हम. इन्होंने आने का हमला कर दिया, हमारे टेंट पाड़ने लगे. हमने कहा भाई टेंट क्यों पाड़ो, पाड़ेंगे. मैं कहा भाई तुम मेरे को चिट्ठी दिखाओ, कोई ऊपर से कमांडर की चिट्ठी दिखाओ, हमारे कमांडर के ऊपर भाई ब्लेम करो. आप नोटिस देने पहले तुम ऐसे कैसे धक्का करोगे, पिटना है हमने तुम. तो साहब हुए माने नहीं. साहब ने हमारी गिरा हाथापाई करी और मेडल पाट दिया. ये कुर्ता पाचा पड़ा सारा, सब कुछ उन्हें बर्बाद कर दिया. यहाँ की बात कोई हमारी बात नहीं सुनी. कम से कम की बात है 500-400 CRP के जवान थे. 500-400 उनकी गेल एक लड़का बगैर उसमें था, कपड़े में, सादे कपड़े में, उन्हें हमला कर दिया मेरे पे. हमला करने लगा, वो मेरा मेडल पार ले गया. मेडल पारने के बाद में सब उन्हें फिर वो यहाँ हट गए, उन्हें थे हट गए, फिर वहाँ से लगे, फिर उल्टे आ गए, फिर हमला कराया. 2 बार हमला कराया सभी ने.
क्या आपको निराशा है इस बात की कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने चुनाव से पहले जो वायदे किए, सेना अधिकारियों से वायदा किया 1 रैंक 1 पेंशन का, कि अब 15 महीने हो चुके हैं और अब तक आपका वादा पूरा नहीं हुआ. क्या आपको लग रहा है कि ये एक तरीके से सेना के साथ और सेनानियों के साथ प्रधानमंत्री का धोखा है?
हमारे जवानों पर हमला कराया, हमारे पर हमला कराया, ऐसे देशद्रोही को तो बिल्कुल भी हम अपने देश के लिए मरते हैं और मरते रहेंगे. ये हालत ये न करा. इस देश की इज्जत नहीं है, इस फौज की इज्जत नहीं है. इसको तो बिना कुत्ते के समान समझ लिया हमारे को. इसके बच्चे क्या ना और करेंगे हमारे के लिए हैं? इनको वहाँ क्यों नहीं भेजा ना मोदी जी ने? हैं? चाइना बॉर्डर पे भेजे, पाकिस्तान बॉर्डर पे भेजते हैं.
ये वाकई में जो हुआ बहुत दुखद है और किसी भी सूरत में किसी भी पुलिस के अधिकारी को, किसी भी सेनानी पर हमला नहीं करना चाहिए, हाथ नहीं उठाना चाहिए, उसे खदेड़ने की कोशिश नहीं करनी चाहिए. विशंबर सिंह is an 82-year-old veteran. He served in 3 wars. He fought in the 62 war, he fought in 65, and he fought Pakistan in 1971 in the Bangladesh front. Surely, India needs to treat its ex-servicemen better. विशंबर जी, हमें बड़ा अफसोस है इस बात का कि आप लोगों के साथ ये ज्यादती हुई, लेकिन आप जुड़े, आपने अपनी आप बीती हमारे दर्शकों के सामने रखी, इसके लिए आपका धन्यवाद. थैंक यू वेरी मच, ग्रेनेडियर विशंबर सिंह. And there's a lot of confusion about 1 rank 1 pension, and the one question that's asked often is, what's the hitch? If the government has made this promise, why is it not able to keep that promise? What are the concerns the Babus keep flagging? Let's take a look at that for a moment. What is it that's holding 1 rank 1 pension back? The government is concerned that granting 1 rank 1 pension in the way the servicemen want it will significantly bloat the government's pension bin. Remember, there are 24.5 lakh registered ex-servicemen. There are 13 lakh serving military personnel who will be ex-servicemen at one time, and the total cost in the initial period is expected to be about 8,300 crores. Now, this is a huge task, according to the government, to pass all benefits to all living servicemen. One of the other concerns is this could lead to a similar demand by other government employees. Paramilitary forces too could make this demand. Babus in the finance ministry have been saying that other government officials will start demanding this. But the reality is, and the reality that needs to be considered, is that in the Indian Army, most Jawans retire at the age of 35. That happens because you want a young, fighting, fit army, and therefore a lot of Jawans retire at the peak of their youth. They retire at 35, then they go back home. So remember, they get stuck with the same pension that they would have got at the time at which they retire. Whereas in the BSF, in the CRPF, in the CISF, you actually serve till the age of 60, which means you have the opportunity to go through many more pay commissions, and therefore the salary, the last salary of the Jawan from the BSF or the CRPF is currently much higher than the salary of the Indian Army Jawan who retires at the young age of 35. And that's the demand which the soldiers have been making. The government has accepted that demand, but it refuses to implement it. These are brave men who give up their lives defending our nation, and yet the Delhi police chooses to forcibly evict them. Joining us on the newsroom showdown tonight is Rajan Bhagat. He's the spokesperson for the Delhi police. With me in the studio is Colonel Anil Kaul. He's the spokesperson of the United Front of Ex-Servicemen. I want to go across to Rajan Bhagat first. Sir, they serve at Siachen, they serve at Tiger Hill and at Tololing at 18,000, 20,000 feet, and yet when they are protesting at Jantar Mantar, Delhi police officials come there and try and forcibly evict our brave army men, sir? Is this not an insult to the institution of the army and the sacrifice that our army men have made for our country?
We salute them, we respect them. In fact, there was some NDMC drive to clear all the places due to Independence Day. In that process, they were requested to move out, but there was no compulsion for them, and we have allowed them to continue, and there is no such issue, and they have been rehabilitated, and we are committed to provide them as whatever is Delhi police can do for their safety, security and other things. We are dedicated to them and we respect them.
Colonel Kaul, the Delhi police now says that because it's Independence Day, because there is a threat perception, everybody needs to be evicted. It's not just the army personnel who are protesting, everyone else who protests at Jantar Mantar too needs to go. And therefore they're saying that, you know, let the army officials and officers not make too big a deal about it. What happened with the army protesters is exactly what happened with the others. Do you think of that as an acceptable explanation, sir?
Well, even if it is question of their being removed, surely a notice could have been given that we are contemplating this, in which case we could have approached the right directions which have come subsequently, have come from the Minister of Home as well as from the Delhi Police Commissioner. What this gentleman is saying is quite right, that we've been allowed to carry on. But it could have been handled in a much more diplomatic and correct way. We are not there to be roughed up as any other gundas around this town. And frankly, I've been there for the last 60 days on a daily basis. I don't think we have ever crossed the line. The red line is very clear: discipline, dedication and correctness. We have not crossed the line at all.
And Mr. Bhagat, that's what the Delhi police must answer to. Now, of course, there's a lot of contrition, there's a lot of damage control. The Minister of State has spoken to the police commissioner. He said allow the armed personnel to go back. Now, the reality is, why was this not done in a better planned fashion? Why was a notice for eviction not served? These are senior officers, generals, brigadiers, colonels, air marshals who've served this country for long. They could have been told, and of course they understand national security much better than anyone else, that because there's a security concern, could you move out for 48 hours, you can come back later. Why did the cops suddenly show up and start roughing up these officials, roughing up these officers and Jawans? Is that not the wrong thing to have done?
In fact, this request should have been made, and they should have been requested, and whatever is there now, everyone has been asked. They can continue, not only senior army officials and other those who were there. They have, everyone has been allowed to carry on there, and there is no such thing which is going to be happen for them.
Rahul, my point is a little different to what he's saying. Now that it's by hindsight, yes, a lot of things happen. Who gave the instructions to the NDMC, clear Jantar Mantar, in that they know that we have got permission to do this protest indefinitely. So they would have known that we are there. Somebody should have briefed the NDMC, and this...
Has there been a post-mortem analysis, Mr. Bhagat, about who gave these orders? Of course they knew that there were senior army officers protesting over there, and yet you decided to use the same force. The reality is there's been a turnaround because of the voltage of protest. But otherwise the government's intention, the NDMC's intention and the police's instructions seem to have been clear. Hatao inko, hatao.
In fact, this drive is going on in the whole security, high security zone, and especially in New Delhi area. And in that process, this unfortunate incident, whatever is being said, has been happened, and therefore everyone has been now instructed that they will continue, and Delhi police is committed to provide anything, whatever best we can do. We will be
Mr. Bhagat, is the Delhi police, and are you as spokesperson of the Delhi police prepared to say sorry? Say sorry to all those armed personnel who serve currently along the line of control, along the international boundary, along the AGPL with China. Are you prepared to say sorry and apologize for the high-handed action of your force, sir?
Whatever considered wrong by anyone is, especially by respected persons, is definitely a wrong thing, and there is nothing in saying anything to defend that. That's why I am saying now everything, everyone has been asked to continue for that protest, and they will be given all whatever is required from Delhi police, and not only this respected
it shouldn't have happened, Mr. Bhagat, it shouldn't have happened, not in this country which has got a serving army of 13 million people, I mean 1.3 million people who are at your beck and call, from picking up prints from the well to fighting the very Chinese and the Pakistanis. It shouldn't have happened, simple as that. I am disappointed.
No one can appreciate such an act. Therefore, a conscious decision has been taken that no one will be asked to, even requested to move from there. They will continue as they are continuing.
Okay, it's good to see that at least the Delhi police is not mincing words in its apology. It's a very straightforward, apology and a regret. Before I end, Colonel Kaul, are you hopeful that there will be an announcement when the Prime Minister speaks for the second time at the Lal Killa tomorrow morning, that OROP tomorrow by about this time will be a reality?
Rahul, if it happens, we will only be too glad, and we will celebrate. We will celebrate in the fact that this man has had the guts to overrule all these chaps who have been standing in the way. We will celebrate that he has had the gumption to pass orders directly to implement something which has been lying pending in a file in the in-tray for last, well,
and what happens
40 years.
If it doesn't get passed?
Disappointed, and we have a plan and action which will be revealed tomorrow.
Okay.
Or day after tomorrow.
A plan of action awaits the Prime Minister if OROP is not a reality by end of day tomorrow. I hope it doesn't come to that, and I hope that the one rank, one pension promise is implemented, because while the government can now say that there are practical problems, and yes there are, the question is, did the Prime Minister and the BJP not think those problems through before this promise was made? They won the votes of the ex-servicemen on the basis of this promise. They must now live up to that promise, and these problems that are being spoken of should have been thought through earlier. Rajan Bhagat, I'm glad that you came on the show, and I'm glad also that you very clearly apologized and regretted for what happened, and I hope this never happens again, because what you don't want ever is a situation where the armed police clashes with your army. That is most unfortunate and regrettable, and I'm very sorry it happened. Colonel Kaul, thank you very much. Let's see what the Prime Minister has in store for us tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Bhagat. One of the unfortunate things that happened today was that the one rank, one pension agitation was being politicized. Rahul Gandhi turned up at Jantar Mantar to support the veterans. Now this is ironical, because the Congress is the one party that first rejected the demand for OROP, delayed it for almost a decade, and here was Rahul Gandhi saying, I will help you get one rank, one pension. Listen to the Gandhi side.
पूरी जिंदगी बॉर्डर पे खड़े रहते हैं, ये प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं, ये कोई गलत काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, इनको मारा नहीं जाना चाहिए, इनको हटाया नहीं जाना चाहिए। सरकार को OROP की डिमांड जो है वो पूरी करनी चाहिए, वायदा किया है और उसको जल्दी से जल्दी पूरा करना चाहिए।
He's got the OROP cap on. He seems to be a big cheerleader, but this is entirely hypocritical, and let me explain to you why. Let's just do a deep dive and take you through how the Congress actually delayed one rank, one pension for several years. The demand for one rank, one pension goes back to 1973, which is when the Third Pay Commission actually created a disparity between the salaries that were earned by government officials, that's the IAS officials, and army personnel. So it happened under Indira Gandhi's watch in 1973. Till then, IAS officials and army officials were paid the same. In 2009 is when the demand for one rank, one pension started being made. The UPA government at that time entirely rejected the demand for one rank, one pension. In September 2009 though, the Supreme Court ordered the government to implement one rank, one pension. This happened when the court said that one rank, one pension is a justified demand and it must be implemented. Suddenly the government was forced to do a volte-face, take back its rejection. In 2010, in May, a standing committee on defense recommended the implementation of one rank, one pension. Remember, Manmohan Singh had 4 years. They did absolutely nothing about it between May 2010 and February 2014, when they were already in an election cycle. And at that time, notionally, they announced that one rank, one pension was being implemented because in the interim budget, they put aside 500 crores. Remember, it cost about 8,350 crores. The UPA put aside 500 crores and said, we've given the servicemen what they wanted. We've implemented one rank, one pension. Now, is that not hypocritical? I want to go across now to Congress leader Deepinder Hooda. He's joining us on this broadcast. He was part of the Congress team that went and met with veterans who were protesting at Jantar Mantar. Now it seems, Deepinder, that the Congress very conveniently has jumped into this protest at the last moment. Your government was in power for 10 years. Manmohan Singh made multiple promises. AK Antony sat on them. OROP did not become a reality when you were in government. Suddenly, Rahul Gandhi wants to pretend as if he's the crusader for the OROP cause. Is this not pure opportunism, Deepinder?
I can cite you 3 things that we did. First, on 3 occasions, in 2006, 2010 and 2013, via 3 cabinet decisions, we were able to enhance the pensions for the defense service personnel retirees. We enhanced the pensions on 3 different occasions. In fact, just the last 2013 pension enhance costed about 3,000 crores to the Indian Exchequer. So we did that, the number 1. Number 2, when post 2006 Sixth Pay Commission recommendation implementation, the demand for one rank, one pension, the movement gains certain momentum. Seeing and being sensitive to that, in 2011, it was the UPA government which constituted the Koshari committee, which was a Rajya Sabha select committee headed by none other than Bhagat Singh Koshari ji from the Bharatiya Janata Party.
You are also being charged, Deepinder, with having politicized what was an army man's protest so far. There were ex-servicemen who were protesting. Your father went to Gurgaon, there was a rally. When Rahul Gandhi came to Jantar Mantar, there were people who said that Rahul Gandhi go back. They didn't want to see politicians there. This is a protest being organized by ex-servicemen. They didn't want Netagiri to happen over there.
The fact that Delhi police moved in this morning and tried to evict certain people who are protesting peacefully and rightfully for their just demand. The fact that Rahul ji chose to go there today, I think has to be seen in that context too.
Rahul Gandhi currently seems to be in a rent-a-cause phase. Wherever there are cameras, wherever there is a photo opportunity, Rahul Gandhi wants to drive straight into the middle of the controversy. There is no follow-up action, there is no plan, there is no past, there is no future. But just at that time he chases wherever the cameras are. That's exactly where he wants to be.
After Bhagat Singh Koshari committee came out with its recommendation in 2013, a large delegation of ex-servicemen went and met with Rahulji. From all across the country, and after they met Rahulji, and Rahulji actually understood the issue in detail, and then he used all the efforts that he could use at that point of time. It was then in the February of 2014 did the union in the union budget, the one rank one pension in this country was approved for the first time in Indian history. So, yeah, it is not right for somebody to say that this is a rent-a-car situation. It is the first time Rahulji has been seen, raising this issue. My question is, 2 years back on 15th September 2013, Narendra Modi ji went to Rewari in Gurgaon Lok Sabha, and it is from Rewari he addressed the ex-servicemen of this country and said, my first, pehli kalam se I will implement one rank, one pension. Now 1.5 years has gone, and that's why we held the protest in Gurgaon today in the same Lok Sabha, where he visited about exactly 2 years back. After 1.5 years, why has the government not been able to set aside just a sum of 9,000 crores?
That's an important question,
final, like I said,
and Prime Minister Modi needs to answer that question, and the Prime Minister must know that India is watching. Ex-servicemen are watching. And if in his speech tomorrow he fails to implement, not promise one rank, one pension, there will be massive disenchantment amongst the rank and file of our armed forces. Yes, Dipender Singh Hooda, final words, please.
I have on one hand, they had made no promise to the corporate sector for that tax cut. Neither was it included in their manifesto. On the other hand, they had made promise to the ex-servicemen who fight for this country. They couldn't set aside just a sum of 9,000 crores.
The reality is, the Congress did have a chance. They didn't see this through. They made a promise, but they didn't implement it. Prime Minister Modi too has made promises. Will he see this through? For the time being though, Dipender Hooda for joining us on the newsroom tonight. Thank you very much.